What up, nerds? My name is Matt, and this is my review of LEGO's ATTE Walker for 2022. The ATTE Walker is set 75337, includes 1,082 pieces, and retails for $140 here in the US. This set was supposed to release on August 1st, but was delayed for a little bit. I heard at the LEGO store because some pieces maybe were missing from the set. I found mine at Target in mid to late August, so they should be available now by the time you're watching this video. The box art for the set looks pretty awesome. It depicts the Battle of Utapau, which is what this set is based off of, seen in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan Kenobi was on Utapau, dueling it out with, what's-his-face, General Grievous. He killed General Grievous, and then Commander Cody gave him his lightsaber back. Obi-Wan jumps on some big lizard thing, he starts climbing up a wall, and then we see Palpatine FaceTime Commander Cody and say, "Order 66, buds." They all go crazy and start shooting down Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is shot down from his lizard creature up on the cliffs of Utapau with the ATTE that we see here. This exact one. I have the very one. You don't have it, I have it. Also in the box here, we see the minifigures that we're gonna get in this set. Commander Cody, Phase II Commander Cody, 3 2/12th clone troopers, a 2/12th clone gunner, and 3 battle droids. Overall, pretty decent minifigure selection for this set, I think. There is a side build that we see on the front of the box, a spider droid, which we will talk more about in a moment. So that's the box art. Now let's get into the build. The instructions start with the spider droid, which is a pretty nice little side build, honestly. The spider droid doesn't really belong in this set, if this set is supposed to be from the Battle of Utapau. At the Battle of Utapau, there were crab droids and some other kinds of droids, but not spider droids, as far as I could tell. I watched that scene like 3 times. I didn't see any spider droids. I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt to the LEGO designers. You do see spider droids at the end of Attack of the Clones. Pretty great looking spider droid, but really should have been a crab droid. That said, if you do want to build your own crab droid, there are lots of really cool mocks out there. I think one of the favorites that I saw was a really nice looking one by a creator named Tiebreak. I'm gonna put a link in the description for that really nice looking crab droid if you're interested in building that. So continuing on with the build, once you finish the spider droid, you really get into the meat of the ATTE Walker. There's a lot of Technic at the beginning, so you're spending a lot of time creating the structure for this set. For someone who doesn't love Technic, it's maybe not the most fun build in a way that the Lion Knight's castle was, I think. You need that structure there, and it does a great job, and I think the end result justifies the use of those pieces. Also, as you can see, the legs look really nice, but there are 6 of them, so there's gonna be some repetition in constructing the legs as well. It's a great build to take on while you're streaming something on TV. You also see a lot of Technic to create like the opening of these parts. A lot of these pieces sort of rotate around an axle of some kind, so there's a lot of hinging elements and Technic elements and pins that allow for that to happen. Not my favorite part of LEGO builds, but they are used really, really effectively here. There is a sticker sheet that comes with this set that has a fair amount of stickers on it, but I think they all add a lot of detail to the build and look really good, so I don't have a problem with any of the stickers that come on here. There are a couple on each side, so you get some interesting detail of the side plates, those protective angled plates on the ATTE Walker, and then you get a couple that add a lot of detail to the top sections. And then of course you get a couple stickers to identify the Republic emblem, and then one for one of the control surfaces inside on the yoke. A lot of these stickers are pretty snugly fit to the faces that they are intended to go on. So while they're not difficult to apply, you do want to make sure that you're careful, and if you're a nerd like me, maybe use tweezers to put them on. And now, before we get into the Walker itself, let's spend a few minutes talking about the great minifigures that come with this set. Finally, we see Phase II Commander Cody with his awesome white and black and orange outfit. He looks really similar to the Phase II Commander Cody we see in the movies. He has the new helmet mold with the holes on the side that allows him to take advantage of the also new orange visor pieces. This is the older, larger style of visor. It really should be the smaller visor style that you see for these Phase II minifigures, but overall it looks pretty good and I'm satisfied with it. Commander Cody has orange arms here rather than only orange pauldrons or shoulder pieces, which is what he really should have, but I think they just maybe didn't want to do any arm printing for this piece, unfortunately. It still looks pretty good, and I think given the choice, I would rather have had orange arms than white arms. If you're into modifying your minifigures, I've seen a really nice version of Commander Cody done that uses the arms from one of a Simpsons piece, I think maybe Marge, but someone on The Simpsons has a white lower portion and an orange top portion of their arms, and that looks perfect on Commander Cody here. The printing on the helmet and the torso and on the legs all look amazing, I think. They're super detailed and crisp and clean. These newer clones just look super good in my opinion. You see that nice looking black and orange detail around the mouthpiece that you see in the movie. Removing the helmet, we see that Commander Cody has a custom cloned face as well. So it's only a one-sided face instead of two, but he has a custom scowl that I believe is unique to Commander Cody. So that's cool. He also comes with a sidearm. You know, of course you could give him whatever weapon you want. After Commander Cody, we have 3 more 2/12th clone troopers, which also look fantastic. Those 3 white, black, and orange 2/12th clone troopers have their own great-looking printed helmets, torsos, and leg pieces. Like Commander Cody, they only get printing on the front of the legs, but great-looking prints on the back and front of the torso, although there are a couple things to note about these helmets. The first thing you'll notice is that the orange does not end in a point, where that orange triangular shape meets the visor area above the eyes. That should come to a point, and we see it come to a point on the front of the box. This is some small level of misprint, so, you know, I think ideally it would be great if LEGO came out with some more helmets in the future that were correctly printed or offered to replace these if you pursued it. 2 of these guys come with a pretty great looking rifle, and the other one comes with a sidearm, just like Commander Cody. The last thing I'll say about these clone troopers is that they have the same new helmet mold as Commander Cody, even though they don't have a visor piece, which means that there's a little hole in each side of their helmets. Now, this helmet shape is subtly different. You know, they've added just a tiny bit of material compared to the old helmet, which that's not a big deal to me, but it would have been nice to see 2 versions of this helmet, one that had the holes and another that did not have the holes if it wasn't supposed to have accessories. The last clone trooper we have is sitting up top here in the gunner seat because he is the gunner. He is allegedly the 2/12th clone gunner, although he's not orange at all, so I'm not sure what, if anything, makes him a 2/12th clone gunner, but he still looks really good. He's got the new helmet mold, and the printing on that looks really great. The torso printing looks really great, front and back. He's got this awesome looking little harness that wraps around to the backside that I love. And there's a little metallic printing back there where those harness pieces meet, and that pops off just a little bit and looks really cool. If you have your clone gunner walking around and not in the gunner seat, then you have the option to include a little small sidearm with him. Removing the clone troopers' helmets, we see that they all share the same standard clone face, which is fine. Again, one-sided, so we only get one face of these clones. Rounding out the minifigure selection, we have 3 Battle Droids? What are they called, right? Battle Droids. These are the standard tan Battle Droids that we've seen forever. They do not come with a backpack, they don't have posable arms. You know, they look like Battle Droids. There's 3 of them, so they could all fight each other. The Battle Droids come with dark gray guns, which look cool, and it's a nice little way to differentiate them from the guns that come with the clones, which are black. These are fine. You've seen them before. I really wish they came with a backpack. You know, whenever you see a droid in the movies, it typically has a backpack with an antenna on it. There are a couple ways you could build and modify and make a custom backpack for these droids. So if you're into that, I would do that because it looks better, I think. Now let's get into the big boy himself, the ATTE Walker. Oh man, this thing is super cool looking. The first time we see an all-terrain tactical enforcer is, I believe, at the end of Attack of the Clones, when all the big gunships swoop down and save the Jedi who are fighting in that Coliseum kind of thing. And then, of course, we see them again in Revenge of the Sith, at the Battle of Utapau, where this set is from. And if you compare the ATTE Walker you see in the movies to this set compares very favorably. I don't have any of the older ATTE sets, so I'm not able to really directly compare them other than what I've seen in other videos, but this one looks pretty fucking awesome. Like I mentioned earlier, the way that all these panels are attached means that all these things sort of conform to one another and meet at angles that are perfect. And so there's really very little in the way of gaps that you see in this set. It looks fantastic. This thing is covered in awesome posable guns that move around. You can point these things up, down, left and right and down, and you know, wherever you want. The main gun at the top here rotates completely all the way around, and it has a pretty wide range of movement up and down as well. So however you want to post this thing, it's probably going to let you do it. There are 6 feet on this set. The 4 in the corners are the same, and then the 2 in the middle are also identical to one another, left and right. And they all look really, really good. The way that they have tiled this section off here around the joint where it articulates looks really, really good. The feet look super tough and awesome. It looks like an all-terrain vehicle. There's also a lot of articulation in the feet. So, you know, you can pose this thing like up on its hind legs, you can move it around. This thing can tilt back crazy far. So if you want to like reenact part where this thing is like climbing up a cliffside, you can probably do it. The stickers all look really good and add to the texture you see on the outside of this build. The Walker has what I feel like is a really nice mix of studs and tiles on the outside. I could see someone maybe wanting to tile off just a little bit more if you're into that, and that would be super easy to do if you have leftover gray tiles you want to use for that. But I think what they've done here out of the box looks really good. You'll notice that the gunner, when he's sitting in his seat here, as you rotate the gun around, He sort of jumps around a little bit. He doesn't securely fasten in here because his seat is smooth. There's no studs on his seat. I think maybe they did that as a play feature, so if you want to shoot him down, he's a little easier to remove. But if you don't want him to move around, it's actually pretty easy to remove this little tile piece where he's sitting and seat him directly on the stud so that he's more fixed in place. Again, the guns can be posed in like any direction you want. You know, you can point all these guns all at the same spot. They could shoot down Obi-Wan Kenobi from the mountainside all day long. They'll never get tired. You will see as you're building the walker that it comes with a handle. It doesn't really call attention to itself when it's just sitting there. It blends into the surrounding area pretty well. But when you want to move it around, this is a great way to pick it up and carry it in the other gunner. I'm not sure if this is the pilot or another gunner or who this is. He's got sticks to grab onto, so maybe he's controlling the movement of the walker. So it's really easy to put a pilot in this seat. He sits in there pretty well. You know, you sit him on the seat. He's got his little sticks to grab onto. You slide him right into his little compartment, and that looks super cool. And the red accent, I think, looks really nice. But now let's take a look at the interior, because the interior of this thing is pretty amazing. This thing is a pretty effective troop transport because this panel on the back folds all the way down. This part folds up, the sides open up, and then you can tilt them back. So once you have the back side of this thing open, it's like full-on Demogorgon. It opens up completely, exposing all of the interior. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats in the back of this thing. 1 seat for the person who's driving that has the yoke, and 4 tan seats for people to sit down. You've got a fire extinguisher in the middle there because, you know, things happen. You've got this great little rack where you can put weapons. So the super long rifles that the 212 clone troopers have, you can store those in that rack and they look great there. And naturally, because it's Commander Cody, you've got a little cup of coffee here because Commander Cody loves coffee. He's obsessed. I mean, it's not a problem. He's not addicted. He's not addicted. He could stop drinking coffee if he wanted to anytime. He just chooses not to. It's fine. The sticker on the control yoke of this compartment looks really cool here. And all around, this is just a super detailed, full feeling interior. The way that you close it up, you just scoot that top down, you bring the back up, you can get those things to snap into place. These side panels rotate back inside and then you fold them down and voila, you've got it everything back and snapped together, looking seamless and great. On the other side, it's a little less open. It still opens, but it's, you know, because of all the stuff here in the way, it's not quite as open as the other side, but let's take a look. Like the back, the front goes semi-Demogorgon here, with the sides opening up like this. And then we've got a spot for 2 more clone troopers. You could fit so many people in here. Because this space is a little bit smaller, and you know, some people don't have tiny hands. My hands are normal size, not tiny. Anyway, what was I saying? You can pull out the seating area of this front section here. So it's really easy to throw on any clone troopers you might have so that they're sitting in these seats and they look really great. They just grab onto the little bar in the middle so they don't fly off because there's not a lot of suspension on this thing. So it's a pretty bumpy ride. That shit's scary. There's no seat belts in here either, so you will want to grab onto that handle. And of course, things might start flying off in combat, and so they thoughtfully include a little wrench so that the clone troopers can make repairs. So once you replace that little seating area, again, you just put the gun back down, rotate the sides, and then fold them closed, and you are back in business. Lastly, of course, for playability, the set comes with stud shooters. These shoot little green discs. I'm gonna grab a round, and we're gonna test out these guns. All right. I found the round in my collection. Oh, it's loaded. All right, here we go. We're gonna test it out. Okay, that was fine. So that's LEGO's new ATTE build. What do we think? So just right off the bat, let me say, you know, this set is $140, not cheap, but just looking at what you get here, I think you get a really, really awesome looking ATTE build. You get a nice looking spider droid. That's a thing you get. You also get 7? Damn, son. You get 7 minifigures, which is a gold mine for Star Wars. You get Phase II Commander Coder. What the hell does that mean? Phase II Commander Cody, and while he's not perfect, he does look really, really good. I bought it. I think it's worth it. I think it's a super cool set. Looks really awesome. It's from multiple iconic scenes in the Star Wars franchise. And if you compare this to something like the Justifier, which is $170, comes with fewer but cool minifigures. I don't know. I think the Justifier is an ugly ship. But, you know, it's your money, you can do whatever you want. This is a really big recommend for me. I think this set looks awesome. What's that? What'd you say, Commander Cody? What? He said, if you enjoyed this video and you don't subscribe, he's gonna kill Obi-Wan Kenobi.